Sun and Real Feel shade temperatures combine more than a dozen factors to provide an accurate measure of how weather conditions really feel to an appropriately dressed person. Only the AccuWeather Real Feel Temperatures Index includes sunshine, rain, and all factors that affect how air feels. Download the AccuWeather app in the App Store, Google Play, or at AccuWeather.com to feel the impact of Real Feel today.
Hey, you know what I don't get? Why is that company always telling you to just do what? What is it? To just look like everybody else? Or maybe just pay way too much for your shoes? Well, at Skechers, we know what we want you to do. Just slip in. That's right, just slip in. To do hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Why? Because slip-ins are the easiest, most comfortable shoes ever. You don't have to bend down to put them on. You don't even have to touch them. Find slip-ins for the whole family at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
When you use the AccuWeather app, you'll see one thing you don't see in any other weather app. AccuWeather's exclusive Real Feel temperature. Real Feel sun and Real Feel shade temperatures combine more than a dozen factors to provide an accurate measure of how weather conditions really feel to an appropriately dressed person. Only the AccuWeather Real Feel Temperatures Index includes sunshine, rain, and all factors that affect how air feels. Download the AccuWeather app in the App Store, Google Play, or at AccuWeather.com to feel the impact of Real Feel today.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
AutoZone is more than a parts store. It's where we help you solve problems like, sorry I'm late, my battery died. And
I need a jump again.
At America's #1 battery destination, you can find the right battery at the right price with options starting at only $89.99. And we offer free battery testing and charging whenever you need it. Get the parts and help you need to get the job done right at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've been waiting, and now it's here. TBSN, the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Make some noise!
Tune in at 7 a.m. and hear Pete Shepard till 10. And then Defo and Luby from 10 a.m. till noon. And then the man himself, Tony Bruno, and the Tony Bruno Show starts at 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Martinez Company from 6 p.m. to 8. And we've got more to come. The Tony Bruno Sports Network. Download the app. Tell your friends the game is on. TBSN.
Feels good to see the world getting loose. Feels good to see the world getting loose. I don't know about you, Sack Noel. I don't know about you, Phenom. I don't know about you, White Shadow. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I'm 2 + 2, I'm for show. You down, I'm down, baby, let's go. You stop, you drop, baby, then roll. You twerk, you pop, booty so slow. I'd hate me too if I were you. And when it comes to billions, I'll take 2. It's only one life, you don't get 2. So live life, don't let it live you.
I got a pocket full of $100 bills. Put on a jacket, cause these diamonds give you chills. 2 shots I'm running, 2 out I'm stunning tonight. Tonight, yeah. Look in the mirror, I'm like, who the hell is he? So many whips and cribs, I'm losing track of keys. Ooh, up to something, ooh, yeah, I love it, alright. Alright.
Yeah, I'm drinking out the bottle. Get loose, hanging with supermodels. Get loose, feel like I hit the lotto. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good.
Well, I'll start off this way. I don't know about you, don't know about me, but I know this much. When we do the crossover, this smart guy has got to remember to turn the mic back on so everybody's partying with us. It is Monday evening. We thank you all for tuning in to Martinez Company. We appreciate each and every one of you, and especially those who hang out after the great Tony Bruno and Miss Robin. They were just on from 3 to 6. We did a crossover, had a little fun with Tony and Miss Robin, as we usually do. And then, of course, there's a switchover mics. So smart guy me, being the guy who's supposed to be in the control here, forgot to hit the thing going, oh, it needs to be green, green, green. So anyways, if you caught the back end of the song, maybe we'll play it back a little bit. But as Miss Robin has Christmas music going at the bottom of the hour, if I remember correctly. So you guys might hear something a little bit different. And then at the top of the hour, we'll hear some commercials, maybe some zingers. I don't know. We'll hear just a little bit of everything. But nonetheless, it is Martinez Company as we are here live on a Monday evening, December 11th. And happy birthday to my son who was born on this date many years ago, originally on a Wednesday, because the original date he was supposed to be born was December 13th, which would have been a Friday. I told the doctor, whatever you do, pull him out, because it ain't happening. He's not going to be a Friday. I don't care if it's December or not. It ain't happening. No Friday the 13th, baby. But nonetheless, happy birthday to my son. I hope he's having a great time out there in North Carolina, enjoying himself and having as much fun as he humanly possibly can. So, thank you all once again. And if you'd like to tune in and or call in and or via the show versus the live version as well, you can do so. One is on the Tony Bruno Sports Network page. The other way you can do it is also looking over at Twitter. And over on Twitch as well. We shared it a couple of nights ago. We seemed to get a request to put it back, so we put it back on Twitch. So you guys can end up enjoying it. And also you can call into the show at 844-644-TONY. That is 844-644-8669. Before I do the formal introductions, as the comments are already coming in hot and heavy, starting out with Joey B, as he says, good evening, fellas from Colorado. Quiñones is back. Let's fucking go. Yes, that's what he said. That's where I'm reading it, folks. We don't have to worry about, getting the censor button, because the only one that controls the censor button is yours truly. Joey B also says, Neff looks like he got a hat off a shrimp boat with Forrest Gump. I was going to bring it up. I was going to wait, but Joey B put it out there, so we'll make sure we'll talk about that as well. I think is that a gator hat, Neff?
Yep.
I figured as much.
Shrimp stew, shrimp gumbo, shrimp kebabs.
Shrimp a lot. Oh, boy. The Penguin AZ, always great to see him. What up, Joey? Joey B, Martinez Company, and Quiñones. And then Joey B with another comment here, as he states, Angel looks like every bandwagon Eagles fan who lives in another city with a shirt and hat combo. Hey, listen, Slick. See, the problem is, if I'd have worn something else, someone would have said otherwise, right? Listen, I support my Eagles regardless if they're on a 2-game slide. It doesn't matter. Either way, I did mention it, not only on Friday's show, at the beginning of the week last week, also at the end of week 2 from the week before Dallas week, that I said there was a strong likelihood that I was not comfortable with the Eagles winning, and I was absolutely right. So don't worry about it. We'll get into it. So that's okay. Hold your horses there, Slick. Joey B comes back, says, Penguin AC, what up, LOL? Penguin AZ follows up with, exactly, Joey B. Neff has gone fishing, and Quiñones is chilling, and Angel just became a Philly fan. I didn't become a Philly fan. I'm originally from Philly. I just reside here in Tampa. What's wrong with you guys?
Relentless.
Wait, yeah. Do you not realize? Well, you can't see the entire thing behind me, but the network on the other side that belongs to yours truly is Broad Street South. It's not Broad Street because of Florida. It is Broad Street South because of Philly. So those who didn't know, now you know. Nate had a great time hanging with him this weekend. He was down here. Tough loss for my Eagles last night. Nate, listen, I feel the pain. Trust me. Penguin AZ says, got to give credit to Angel. At least he became a fan when they lost. Jeez Louise. You guys, I can see it's already going to be that kind of Monday evening. Not Philly Broads. No, not Penguin AZ. Not Philly Broads. Philly Broad Street South is what we do. But if I say that, then people are like, oh my God, you're Philly-centric. Listen, we do what we like to do here on the network. And if you guys listen, and by the way, I was supposed to have the sports station up and running by this weekend. Things got so busy. My boy Nate came into town, so I didn't get a chance to upload everything. But I'll be working on it throughout the night and the week. So therefore, you guys can listen to the new lineup and also all the music that's going along with it. Joey B says, Quiñones with the boxing gloves in the background. He's ready to rumble versus the internet.
He knows. He's well aware. The red, I'm wearing the red today because there's blood in the water for the Eagles. So definitely going to go at it. He knows. There is. So first 5 minutes of the show here, everybody's coming in hot and heavy with your. And by the way, you guys can send in. You guys will be able to send your messages via, again, the text line
You can call into the studio. You can also send us messages right here on Facebook. So if you guys want to see what the show looks like behind the scenes, then do so. But also don't forget, download the apps. Download the apps. You'll hear it all the time. Tony says it to his guests all the time. Download the app so when you guys are, in a foxhole, maybe not in a foxhole. Well, depending on what kind of foxhole you're in. I'll just leave it at that. There might be children listening. By the way, if you are tuned in after 6 p.m., just want to let you know, this gets between R-rated and it's definitely not PG-13. So if you're looking for a PG-13 rating, you might want to tune in to, I don't know, something else. So just saying. Also, if you're part of the BHS, if you haven't figured it out, send a message to somebody. They'll tell you exactly what it is. So you're part of the BHS. Well, you too. You might learn a thing or two here. Also, the Penguin AC says, let's go. I thought the internet was for porn. Well, you know what? It's for other things as well, AZ. There's other things. It's educational. You can learn about colors. If you're a Marine, you can learn about coloring books because they love coloring books and crayons. So Marines love that stuff. If you guys see a Marine, by all means, first of all, tell him thank you for your service. And then if you hand him a magazine with crayons, he'll just love you to death. Don't believe me? Just do it one day. I'm not going to tell you what the results are. Just do it. You'll find out. Anyways, so NFL talk, as it is NFL Monday here. As I told Tony on the crossover, everybody usually waits for a Sunday night. Well, now everybody waits for Monday night because it is NFL Recap Monday here on Martinez and Company. And also to start off the show, to make sure that I do this the proper way, joining us now, Martinez and Company, as the permanent co-host in the second chair, it is Rich Quinones as the co-host here at Martinez and Company. So, Rich, first of all, I want to say thank you for coming on with us here at the network. I know you've been a guest, but now you slide into the second seat. So I want to say thank you very much.
I appreciate it, and honored and humbled, and you guys are great guys. And like I said, it's just, be part of Legends Network and Tony Bruno. I'm excited, and we'll have some fun, and who knows what happens throughout the week, 2 hours when we go back and forth. So just excited, talking sports, do what we do best, but certainly appreciate the opportunity, and very grateful to you, Angel. So appreciate you guys.
No problem. And Ryan F., who you guys see as Brian, who, listen, Brian, I just want to say, now that Rich is here, now you come back. I got you. Don't worry. I got you, Brian. Go! As he writes across the screen for those who can't see out there in radio land. By the way, we are digital radio, so people keep saying, is this a podcast? No, it's not a podcast. This is digital radio, folks. Sports Radio 102.9 is digital radio. So this is the new wave things are going. So it's not terrestrial radio. So now when you have to go out to your car and pull up the old antenna and make sure you get great reception, no, you download the apps. Download the apps, and that's how you get digital radio, because that's the wave of the future, the way things are going. But I can't even get the other intro. Ryan, I'll introduce you here in a second as the comments keep coming in. Joey B says, Quinones is like the uncle of the show. Talks quietly, but carries a big stick. Don't F with Uncle Rich.
Listen, Joey B probably hasn't heard me on the air for years because, listen, there's going to be zero quiet nonsense. I can tell you that right now. Your antenna's comment, I'm wondering if a lot of people had the rabbit ears last night. They wanted to turn that shit off at the half if you were a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Yeah, well, I mean, listen, you gotta crank it up sometime, right?
You do.
Carry a big stick.
No, you do. And Ryan Epp here with us tonight as we'll get a couple of extra folks that are, well, we were supposed to have one other guest. Unfortunately, I don't believe he happened to check his messages, so hopefully he will. But get a grip, Dylan Spalding will be with us at a 7 o'clock hour. But our contributor here to the show, Ryan Neff, with his, dude, that hat is killing me, Haas. The bucket hat from your Florida Gators. Is there a jumpsuit that goes along with that?
No, this hat is quite old, my friend. This hat is at least 25 years old. So
He still got the Chiefs back there too. It looks like he still has that shirt. It's in a couple more losses, it's probably going to be off to the beaten path.
No, not a chance. I still support my Chiefs, even though they're in trouble. But I still support them.
There you go. So,
they're big time.
Get a grip says, welcome to the show, Rich. Joey B earlier, I'm telling you, it's Monday night. Things are coming in hot and heavy. Joey B says Vikings Raiders set the professional game of football back 50 years. What the fuck? Yeah. We'll get into it. 3-0. Indoor stadium. 3-0. Unbelievable. Penguin AZ laughed at his comment and says, hey, Neff.
What, are you get a free bowl of soup with that
hat? There you go. Joey B always comes in hot and heavy. He was waiting for the weekend just for Monday to start. I got to get that soundbite, but I have to get Carrie Underwood. Her and I are really tight, like us and Kay Swift. I have to get her to make a version of waiting all day for Monday night. Therefore, and just throwing Martinez Company in there. I'm pretty sure I get hit with a frivolous lawsuit if I end up doing some nonsense like that. I'll reach out to somebody. Don't worry. Maybe, you know what? If there's someone that sings really well, even if you rap well, and I know Joey B's going to probably say something about his rapping, but if you rap really well, did I say it too quick? Hold on. Joey B says, Neff and the Chiefs, LOL. Hey, Neff, not only was it lined up offsides penalty, it was an illegal formation as well.
I'm not making excuses.
He did it.
Hey, listen, Kansas City Chiefs fans are the last fans to talk about flags or no flags, man.
Not going to hear it from me.
You know? I mean, listen, it's another bad loss. And, you know, teams are leaking oil. You know, Eagles are leaking a little bit of oil and then some.
Yeah, that could be. Get a Grip says, by the way, I do love Chris Stapleton Monday Night Intro. Man, I don't know. I think they should have left the way it was for years. There was nothing wrong with it, but I get it. I understand they got to change things up. Joey B says, I'm like Vanilla Ice. I can rap or sing. And then he follows it up quickly with, I can't rap or sing. So, or of sing. Oh, here we go. Then he follows it up with another one here. He says, I'm like Vanilla Ice. I can't rap or dance. Well, geez. Hey, you know what? He didn't do bad back in the 90s. You got to give it to him. He may not have been able to rap, but you know what? Ice Ice Baby, so to this day, could be played anywhere, and people will still go out and dance to it, and so will he, for that matter. So, what can you say about last night? I did mention before, as I talked about it before, that I expected, and I can't type either, as he follows up with Joey B on his latest comment. Yeah, which is that one I have to give to you, Joey B. You might not be able to type, but I understand you're trying to get everything out a mile a minute. Brian Husta says they got Taylor Swift money. The calls aren't going to go their way. And by the way, did you guys happen to see when, I guess somebody posted out there on social media, of course she comes down, you know, there isn't a runway, but as you're going in towards the locker room and then going up towards the booth, that you got three of the Bills looking back like, oh, look, it's Taylor Swift. So in the meantime, they're probably trying to tell her, yeah, just see our back, because that's the only thing you're going to see, because your man's going to be pretty much sticking down. So, listen, it's just, Sunday was just, I don't know what it was. It was lopsided. Obviously, KC had their loss. Patrick Mahomes apparently cried because he thought the referees called the wrong penalty. And to me, that didn't make any sense. You can clearly see he was at least a foot in front of football itself at the line of scrimmage. So that was just ridiculous. How can you not allow? Listen, there's nothing wrong with trying to get an edge, right? Get an inch if you can, a half an inch. But old boy went a whole foot. You can't be a foot in front of football and think the flag was not going to be thrown.
That's on Tony. That's on Kadarius Toney.
Correct.
That's flat out Kadarius Toney. He had the drops. He had the drop against Detroit. You know, the Giant, right? We were sitting there and everyone was complaining, oh, you can't get rid of him. You can't trade him. There's a reason. He's a friggin' bust. He's a head case. I mean, listen, these teams that were dominating for years now, they're starting to kind of come back down to earth a little bit. How about the stat that Patrick Mahomes might actually have to go on the road for a playoff game? Which when I first heard it, I kind of took a step back and I was like, you got to be kidding me. And they still might be favored depending upon where they go. But, yeah, I mean, that's on Kadarius Toney, and that falls on Andy Reid and head coaching.
It does. Hang on here. We've got a couple more comments coming in. See, now, Get a Grip was supposed to be a guest at 7 o'clock. On this one, you might have to get the non-invite. My rap name would be Vanilla Philly Water Ice. Why? Why make the attempt? I get it. You're not from Philly, so I understand you're trying to put the Philly swing into there. Joey B says Taylor Swift is double dipping in KC. She made millions off her concert there and now gets a house paid for by Kelsey. Double dipping, pun intended, which is true. He bought her $18 million mansion so she can hang out there for 3 weeks before she goes overseas. The Penguin AZ says, I think they will call offsides on Tony tonight on Packers and Giants game. It could happen. But is anybody, and before I get to the last, well, let me get to Joey B first. As he says, will Neff be on the invite list to the Tay Travis wedding?
Even if I was, I wouldn't go.
It's not going to happen. There's going to be a breakup song that's going to happen here sometime soon. If Kansas
you think it's a fraudulent relationship?
Yeah.
I think that Travis Kelce is her material for her next album.
I mean, listen, if they have a bad breakup and he cheats on her, are you kidding me? That's going to go platinum, gold. It's going to sell hundreds of millions of albums. You're right. I mean, maybe it's material, but I don't know. I mean, the funny thing is everyone kills them, but they've been doing this since the dawn of time, have they not? These fake relationships.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, go back and look at Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck the first time around. Presidents with actresses and Marilyn Monroe and all this. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. They've been faking it for years. I don't know, man. But to Angel's point, and it's a good one, you're right. I mean, if they break up and it's a nasty breakup.
Of course. It's going to be, because, all right, Ryan, who would be, and I know we're not like in the super music mega spectrum, but who would be like that one person, like Taylor Swift's kryptonite if Kelsey decided to cheat on her?
Well, it would be Kelsey's kryptonite?
No.
Taylor you mean like her nemesis?
Right.
Well, I'll tell you what, it probably wouldn't be a singer, but what if he went after with Kim Kardashian, who, no love loss.
Wait.
No love loss.
Yeah, okay. But the problem is, though, everyone knows what the Kardashian touches never turns to gold unless it's for themselves. So many careers have gone through the Kardashians, but they've all crashed and burned.
Taylor Swift's almost a billionaire, but yet Travis Kelce buys her a $17 million home. You figure that one out.
Man.
He must be in love.
Yeah, or they're faking the funk pretty good. One or two. Penguin AZ says, Tony is another Antonio Brown without the hit from Vontaze B. Joey B follows up with Quinones knows Taylor is a rental for Travis. Then followed by the Penguin AZ. Listen, folks, there's a lot of comments coming in tonight, so get them in while you can because they're coming in like hotcakes. Penguin AZ says also Kelsey is too involved with her and not paying attention to football. Ryan had talked about that before, and he did send me messages on the side, said the same identical thing, that it became a major distraction. Also, Penguin AZ says, women have ruined many of athletes' careers.
How do you know that, though? How do we have validity on that? Seriously.
Ben Roethlisberger?
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about his mind is somewhere else because he has a couple drops. I mean, honestly, this goes back to Romo and Jessica Simpson when they went to Cabo and they lost to the Giants in the divisional round in 2007. They were 13-3. I mean, seriously, can he have a life outside of football? Because he drops a couple passes, we're saying it's because of what he's doing in the bedroom?
The whole team.
Where's his attention's at?
The whole team has too many distractions, too many commercials. Taylor Swift, the whole thing with them not having great receivers. Although Rashee Rice is stepping up to the plate, they just have too many distractions going on. They are not good enough this year to do anything. They got away with it last year. This year is a whole different story, and we're already in the week 14, 15, whatever the hell it is. That they're not going to fix it this late. They're just not going to.
Say the same thing about the Eagles. You can say the same thing about the Philadelphia Eagles. When they were 10-1, Angel and I were talking about this last week. We were texting each other. When they were 10-1, Hurts was the MVP. Sirianni was the coach of the year. You don't have to worry about a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. Then they get friggin' dog walk out in San Francisco, and then they turn around. They get dog walk last night against the Dallas Cowboys. 10-3, get rid of the head coach. Hurts can't, quote, read defenses according to former players. He's not an MVP right now. Antonio Brown looks disinterested. Darius Slay rather getting in a pissing contest with Seth Joyner. Yeah, he is Darius soft-ass Slay. He's not Darius big play Slay. So, he's more concerned about his stats on X. The NFL is week to week. Can teams turn around? Yes. But to your point, is it getting too late for a team like Kansas City? Perhaps. Is it getting too late for the Philadelphia Eagles? Come on, man. They got a favorable schedule. They just need to clean up a lot of things. There's definitely cause for concern, but I don't like what I've seen the last couple of weeks from the Philadelphia Eagles at all.
No, neither do I. But unfortunately, I mentioned even on Friday, the whole thing was with the coaching staff. There's no adjustments. They can't make adjustments. It's week in, week out. When they were put on display, you can see that with the two new coaches they end up getting there, including Nick Sirianni, it's no different. And by the way, I like how I'm almost certain it was Tony this morning on Pete Shepard's show when he talks about Nick Sirianni's haircut, because that is the worst. That is probably the worst haircut I've ever seen. I mean, Jesus, did you take the Flowbee before you came out last night?
Going Jersey Shore style.
Oh, it's just ridiculous. But no, when you can't make if you can't make adjustments, this is the product out in the field. You're leaving your defense out there the entire game. The entire game. If you look at it right now, the offense is not producing. Lane Johnson, I get it. Listen, he's been injured, but at the same time, too, the corners are coming around them. I mean, everybody was breaking through that line last night. As Tom Brady ex-wife, says that Jason Kelce can't do everything. He can't throw the ball. He can't run the ball. He can't block. He can't do everything. But it's going to get to a point. Are the Eagles going to turn this around? I don't know. We'll talk about it in the second half on the second quarter here after the break. But who knows? It was an ugly display of what we saw last night. And I'm not going to freaking lie because I had it on there. Matter of fact, if AJ and Santonio is tuning in, I told AJ, and I'm almost certain I told him at the half, that I said, that's it, Dallas won. And not only that, I went a little bit further in saying that I could see now at the rate the Eagles are playing, because they're not going to make the Super Bowl the way it's going right now. And that's when I want to hear like, oh my God, it's a homer. No, a homer would say that they're going to make it to the Super Bowl. The way the Eagles are playing right now, they will not make it to the Super Bowl because they have been pretty much put out there on a blueprint. Everybody knows. Matter of fact, Jim Harbaugh could see what they were doing last night from his toilet inside of his house. And he even have to send a spy out there because he can read everything that's going on there. So could everybody else at this point. There was not many trick plays in a book. And who was one team actually did a trick play, but unfortunately they called it back, I believe, for a hold or some other crazy crap. Because they tried a fake punt. They actually got away with it. It was he ran for 22 yards, and then they called it back because of a hold. Or no, excuse me, behind the back block.
In the back, yeah.
Right. In the meantime, they kept saying on the network was that he slipped. His footing slipped, and that's why they called it wrong. Now, again, I'm not an official. I just work here at the Tony Bruno Sports Network. Therefore, I can get paid. And as Mr. Marshall once said, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Angel, it's coaching right now. It's coaching, and I think maybe we overestimated and overvalued the Eagles. And it's a gauntlet stretch that they just had. The schedule's favorable, but now all of a sudden, get a gift against Buffalo. You need a 59-yarder force overtime. Get a drop first Kansas City. You win that game. You should have lost to Dallas the first time around if Prescott makes a couple plays late. And then when you step up and you punch outside your weight class, look what happened the last 2 weeks. And that also falls on the head coach who is not getting ripped enough. The head coach who decides, I'm going to be aggressive all the time when he should have went for it on 4th and 3 doesn't, and then decides to go for it on 4th and 9. That's panic mode in my book. And that's all right, let me try to figure it out. Go to the mailbox and cut across to the Chevy. That's not how you win games on Sunday. You just don't.
That's pretty bad. Joey B, there's a couple more comments here before we get into the break here. As he says, Quinones going all entertainment tonight on us. J-Lo and Ben, well played. Get a Grip comes back and says, Mama Kelce would be the nemesis. Maybe not. OMG, Kelce and Kardashian. Wow, Quinones is onto something. That would break the internet. There's other things. The dad actually broke the internet when he came out with his thing. And I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to get into it because I don't want a bunch of hate mail for like, oh my God. BSHers, you guys know. I'm just saying, all right? BHS. I'm going to get a t-shirt. And for everyone who's out there that's a BHSer, you'll ask your friends. If you have not tuned into this show, maybe I'll tell you by the end of the night. I will send you a free shirt. BHS, brought to you by Martinez Company. Get a grip. When Romo and Carrie Underwood broke up, before NBC played before he cheats on Sunday Night Football, according to Wikipedia. I don't know. I can't remember that one, but listen, it could be true. Joey Beelingring is coming back up here. Quinones coming out strong tonight. Now with Romo, Jessica Simpson mentioned laughing my ass off. Wow, I forgot about the romance she ruined, Romo.
Jessica Simpson walked, so Taylor Swift can run.
You remember Andre Rison and Left Eye Lopez?
Yeah, I mean, it
there
goes
you go.
back, man. It harkens back. We can keep going and keep going.
Burned his damn house down.
Sure did. Yeah.
Burned his house down.
Well, we'll get into it. Listen, the comments are coming in. Thank you guys for the comments coming in here. It is Monday Night Football, Martinez Company style. As I said in the very beginning, you waited all day for Monday night. Well, now we're here. 6 to 8 p.m. Don't forget, after us, the brand new show by AJ Johnson of Bleacher Brothers. It was a week in waiting, but he will be live from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For those who can't tell time, you got the little hand on the 8, big hand on the 12. And, that's for those who know about analog clocks. Digital ones, if you can't tell time with digital time, I don't know what else to tell you. So maybe you're part of the BHS. I don't know. One of those two. But anyways, after the break, we'll get into some more NFL updates at 7 o'clock. We'll get an update from IMSA from Get a Grip. He'll be on live at 7 p.m. to let us know everything that went on up there in Daytona, including the prototype cars, that it sounded like it was fantastic. And he did send me a picture about a Mustang that looked absolutely fantastic. So I'm pretty sure he had a lot of fun. He'll come back to us at 7 o'clock. So, and one quick text came in before we go on the break. I know I'm going to end up done here. AJ in San Antonio. Angel, before I block you on Twitter, yes, you messaged me. I'm calling it right now. Dallas versus San Fran, the NFC Championship game. P.S. Just kidding about blocking you. But I did. That's what I started saying, and I forgot to mention it. But I did. See, I was not kidding. I said to AJ in San Antonio last night that I could see a Dallas, San Fran 100%. NFC Championship game. So when people think, when I tease Dallas a lot, I also give them the well-respect that they deserve, because last night they showed exactly who they are. And I said it, that the Eagles were going to be having a hard time to be able to see it. So after the break, we'll get into some more NFL updates. We'll get more of your comments as they're coming in hot and heavy. We thank you all for tuning in tonight at Martinez Company, whether it be in right here on the social medias, but especially when you download the apps so you can hear us in crystal clear Dolby Stereo. Or at least I'll say Dolby Stereo, but, depending on your car. Maybe you have Dolby. Sometimes people have monologue. I don't know. Whatever's. But either way, we'll talk to you guys right after the break.
Mistletoe, wish you once, there's some more. Wish you a Merry Christmas, baby. Wish you a Merry Christmas, baby. And such happiness in the coming year. Deck the halls with holly, sing sweet silent night. Fill the trees with the angel hair, pretty, pretty light. We'll go to sleep and wake up just before daylight. All these things and more. That's what Christmas means to me, my love. All these things and more, baby. That's what Christmas means to me, my
to Martinez Company.
It's always playing in my car.
On the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
See, you guys thought that I was playing around with you, didn't you? Well, the music brought to you by, it is, last time Miss Robin stayed in the studio till 9 p.m. to load up a bunch of Christmas carols so that we can all get the Christmas spirit, so we can all feel that we can love one another and hug each other and tell the tree, we love you, thank you for being here. Sarcasm inserted. Now, except for those, you know who you are. You know who you are. BHSers. Just say, not VHS. Don't get it confused with VHS. BHS. Again, ask a friend. They'll tell you all about it. All right, getting back quickly to the comments here. Let's see. Go back. Quinones. Okay. The Penguin AZ before the break said, let's see. End of day, any given Sunday, Monday, or Thursday, every dog has his day. A good dog has two. Listen, I use that statement all the time. Every dog has his day. And there's someone in particular in the past life that will have her day as well. Anyways, Get a Grip also mentioning maybe the Eagles need Willy Wonka, rebuild the factory. Yeah, might have a point there. Might have a point. You may not be wrong. Penguin AZ says, perfect example, Joshua Dobbs. He was good with a defense that didn't have enough video on him. And now that teams have video, he is getting exposed, which is true. Penguin AZ, of course, go Pack Go, as the Packers continue to do good things. Joey B, go Giants, plus 6.5. Listen, see, now you just won Rich's heart because you two being a Giants fan. I was
going to say real quick, the comment on Dobbs is actually a pretty good one because he was like the story of the season, right? Comeback player of the year. Mm-hmm. And then you get film and tape on a guy. And I'm just wondering, like, when you think about it, if you look at Hurts right now, you go to that game last night, right? I mean, again, the turnovers, the presence in the pocket. He's starting to become a fumbling machine too. And that's something that has to be discussed a little bit. The ball security. I mean, you had your three big-time players all lose to football last night. He's got 10 interceptions, career high. He's got 5 or 6 fumbles. He's lost 4. 2 weeks ago, he was the MVP, right? 2 weeks ago, he was the MVP. And now all of a sudden, you would think he's a backup quarterback at best, which is just utterly ridiculous to even have that kind of conversation. The defense has been gashed. You got to talk about the defense. I don't know what you guys saw last night, but they looked extremely tired. Corners are out of position. Linebackers can't cover. That is a major problem when you go into the playoffs. And I can't sit here and say you'll figure it out against Seattle, a bad Giants team in Arizona. And
well,
right now that's the issue.
Fundamentally, the Eagles' defense is pathetic. And Jalen Hurts is turning into the Jared Allen of the NFC. But let's be honest. I mean, a lot of quarterbacks. Mahomes with 11 picks this year.
Jared Allen or Josh Allen?
I mean, Josh Allen. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's turning.
Josh Allen is a top 10 quarterback.
Well, Jalen Hurts is turning the ball over like Josh Allen does. So, I just think that look, defensive coordinators, they have film on him now for the last 2-3 years. They know his tendencies, but again, Rich. DeAndre Swift has to touch the ball more than 13 times a game. 100%. If the Eagles can't run the football and you rely too much on that passing game, that's where they get themselves in trouble. If you go back earlier in the year, the Eagles were effectively running the football. Yeah. They were pounding the rock, and they were playing solid defense. So, I don't know why they've gotten away from it. Only the coaches know that. But, again, you can't expect... I mean, Hurts ran it 5 times for 30 yards. DeAndre Swift only carried it 13 times. So, again, they've gotten away from what their identity is. Pound the rock, play solid run defense, you win football games, and they've just gotten away from it.
But the NFL wants to see more passing, unfortunately. And it's been talked about throughout the season, that the NFL wants to see more passing. Now, it behooves the coaches to not want to do so much passing when they want to do a balanced attack. Unfortunately, the Eagles' balanced attack, they believe it's 95% in the air, 5% on the ground. You keep doing that, you're going to burn out your defense, which they are right now. Now you just traveled to Dallas Sunday night. They didn't fly home till today. Now you have to turn right back around, fly across the country over to Seattle, which you're going to leave, Friday night, Saturday, I believe, Saturday, I'm sorry. You have to leave on Sunday, because God forbid, the way it used to be, where if you played a Monday night game, you would arrive on Saturday to have the rest on Sunday and then play on Monday. Now with this whole COVID nonsense procedure BS, that now they can only be there less than 24 hours before they touch the football. So now you're talking about traveling out on Sunday. The lack of sleep you're going to get in between there. And I'm not coming out with excuses before everybody comes out with 50 million other reasons.
Yeah, you are.
You are.
No, yeah, you are.
I'm not. I'm just saying that you
they're
have to.
professional football players, Angel. They're making
I
hundreds of
understand
millions
that.
of dollars.
Right.
Lack
But
of
when
sleep.
correct. But the point that I was making there was that even when people want to say, well, they're going to talk about this 13 games, or 3 games, 13 days, they travel the whole 9 yards. You know what's asked of you. You know this. It's no different. Okay, so they flex the game to Monday. It doesn't give you an extra day of rest, but you figure it gives you an extra day to get your shit together, 1 or 2.
No, it does give you an extra day. You're right on that. You're 100% correct. It does give you an extra day to plan, to rest, to get healed up, and the game plan. But going back to Ryan's point, it's the NFL, man. Like, seriously, every team is banged up. Every team's going through a litany of injuries. Every team hits that proverbial wall. But offensively, they have no identity. They don't. They have no identity at all. In years past, it was run the football. It was a bounce attack. You see it across the league. And to your point about the NFL wanting it to be a passing league, that's all well and good. But in bad weather, come January, February, you know how you win games? You get to the quarterback, you run the friggin' football. Passing is secondary. Like, you have to run the ball even when you can't run the football, if that makes sense. What's the point of having a great back in Swift or having a big back in Penny that you're not even going to activate or give these guys touches? All it was last night was Brown and get Goddard back in and get it to Smith and keep feeding Brown, and then we'll go and we'll run Goddard. It's just – and the defense stinks. Their defense is bad, man.
It is.
Listen, I'm not going to sit there and say the slinging Sicilian, the gunslinging Sicilian, the passing Paisano is going to start lighting it up with 2 out of 3 games coming up for the Giants. But they're going to play hard because they can't beat the Eagles. They would love to beat them. Arizona's a feisty team, and Seattle's a tough team. So 3-1, I think the Eagles would sign up for that the last 4.
And here's the other thing, too, is the Eagles better watch out this coming week because Seattle's fighting for their playoff lives. Yeah. They're coming off a loss to San Francisco. Now they're really behind the 8 ball. So Philadelphia is going to get Seattle's best shot. So and Kansas City, they better watch out for New England. The way Kansas City's playing right now, there's a lot of these teams. I know New England's going through it right now, but the way Kansas City looks, I don't know. So, but Philly better watch out this weekend. So.
Well, everybody knows that obviously Seattle's looking to fight for playoff lives. Listen, and you hear the broadcasters last night after the game. Well, the Eagles have the easiest schedule down. Okay, that means to me personally, it means absolutely nothing. Because how many teams have we not seen with losing records? What do they want to do? They want to knock you out of the playoffs just like they knocked themselves out of the playoffs. So I don't see the Giants just going, here you go, here's your 2 wins so you can win the NFC throughout. Yeah. It's not going to happen. The Giants are going to fight you, and especially now that they know all the exposing sides of both offense and defense. No different with Seattle. Seattle did put up a good game. I thought Seattle was going to end up pulling off the win, but they didn't. But regardless, that's what it's going to be looking for. Go ahead, Rich.
But you would feel comfortable, though, knowing as an Eagles fan, you have this softer schedule to finish out the season over what Dallas has left and what San Fran. I think from that standpoint. But listen, you're right. The way they're playing now, who's to say the Giants couldn't beat them or Arizona couldn't give them a game or Seattle couldn't beat them? I totally agree with you, but I just think it's a deeper issue. In the beginning of the year, beginning of the season, I remember I talked about them not having the coordinators, right? And our guy, Lloyd Vance brought it up. Different offensive coordinator, different defensive coordinator. How would it play? And this team's going to be fine. They have too much talent. You're getting people saying this team was better than last year, and then all of a sudden they lose a couple games, and now they're trash. And I think there's something to be said about different coordinators. And I also think Nick Sirianni is almost like a rah-rah motivator, a cheerleader, when you have to be a head coach. You have to hold guys accountable. Do you not? I'm not saying call him out in the media, but you have to coach up Jalen. You can't fumble. You can't turn the ball over. You have to coach up these linebackers. Keep your gap discipline. Stay in position. Don't get beat in coverage. That's what you get paid for. And I'll tell you, the Dallas Cowboys, I think last night was more about the Dallas Cowboys than the Philadelphia Eagles because Dallas basically shut a lot of people up, and now it's a 2-man MVP race. It's Purdy in San Francisco, and it's Prescott in Dallas. So the talk of Jalen Hurts MVP, just put it on the back burner right now. If they get home field, if the Eagles get home field, yes, they will be a very tough out. You win one game, you host an NFC championship. But if they play like they did in the beginning of the year, are they good enough to go on the road and beat San Fran and Dallas? I would say I give it a 50-50 shot. If they're playing like they have the last couple weeks, no. Dallas and San Fran's going to run them out of the building.
Right. My thing is I got to get caught up with all the comments here because there's a ton of them. Joey B says, how many camera shots of DeVito family tonight on Monday Night Football? Plus minus 12.5. That might not be too bad.
Hit the over. Hit the over.
Yeah, exactly. Penguin EC says, hanging around for Bleacher Brothers, indeed, for their show because they are on live right after us from 8 to 10 p.m. for the first time. I'll be listening as well. Joey B says, what's up with the 2 Monday Night Football games at the same time? Stupid, at least stagger it. One East Coast, one West Coast. Everybody's been mentioning the same thing, but for whatever odd reason, I guess ESPN has tons of money that's being involved in that nonsense. Joey B, who has better hair, Rich Quinones or Tommy DeVito? Push.
That's not a push, Joey B. That's not a push. That's not a push. I give the edge. I'm sorry. That's one thing I take pride on, even with the TV work. Come on. It's the one thing I have going for me, it's got to be the hair. By the way, you know why they did that tonight? Because they figured Miami's going to blow out Tennessee.
Right.
So at least you have an opportunity to tune in and see what's going on with the Giants and the Packers.
No, that's true. And by the way, as people are making their comments here live on Facebook, on Tony Bruno Sports Network Facebook page, see, when you put it all together, it just comes into one word. So for those who are watching into the show, you guys can make your comments as you do on the phone as well. If you like to call or text in, you can also do that at 844-644-TONY, 844-644-8669, because I'm telling you, the comments come in one after the other. Penguin AZ says, thank you, Q, for the mention. But really, Hurts isn't a passing quarterback. I'm not going to say that much, but the Penguin AZ says he needs to keep a balance of run heavy and not hit running and passing quick or not, followed by really Rich, Dak, MVP, come on.
Yeah. Penguin AZ. Yeah, Penguin AZ. Yeah. Yes. Wait, why can't we give – because it's Dak Prescott and it's the Dallas Cowboys. It's Prescott and it's the star. Have you watched him play this year? Do you think I want to come on the air and give credence to a friggin' Dallas Cowboy quarterback? Are you kidding me? Absolutely not. He's playing lights out. That one touchdown toss last night, that was a friggin' MVP throw. I'm telling you right now, it's Purdy or it's Dak. Those two are playing at such a high level right now, and you can't counter that and come back to me and say, well, look at the players that they have. I can make the same argument. Jalen Hurts doesn't have weapons. Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback. Top 5, 6, 7. Absolutely. But this year, it's lining up that it's Dak Prescott's year, a quarterback that everyone and their mother said was basically fighting for his career this year, and he's playing lights out. So, yeah, man, I got to give credit to him. Absolutely.
There's only one other person I would throw into the MVP conversation other than those two, and that's Tyreek Hill. If Tyreek Hill goes off these last 4 or 5 games, over 2,000 receiving yards, over 100 it's going to be close, man. If Tyreek Hill has the kind of year that he's capable of having the rest of the year here.
Yeah, but who's throwing him the football then?
What's that?
Who's throwing Tyreek Hill the football?
Tua.
Right. So what do you think his numbers would be?
Outstanding.
We have to put Tua in the conversation.
Right. He's going to be in there. You got to figure it's going to be a race. I mean, other than the only one that's probably looking out of the race at the moment because he's concussed is C.J. Stroud. And by the way, the Jets.
That's a very good call, by the way. He was excellent call, Angel, because you could have made a very strong case for him. And no one's talking about the cheap shot yesterday in that Jets game when he got his head slammed down.
Yep. That was the only way they're going to be able to pull off the win. And Jets fans, bring it. Bring it. I want to hear it. Because once again, you guys are finding ways to win, but almost like, some other Pats fans, they used to find ways to win too by cheating. But, those days are long gone, I guess. You won 6 rings.
Wilson played good. Zach Wilson played good. He's still not I don't believe he's the answer going forward, but he played well yesterday. I give him that. I can't pile on the Jet fans. I'm sorry.
Houston should be ashamed in themselves yesterday. They should be absolutely ashamed losing to the Jets like that. They got their ass kicked.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. But again, the quarterback struggled a little bit. I think I mentioned this with you guys a couple weeks ago on the show. You have young quarterbacks. When you start to get in this portion of the season, how do you handle the pressure, right? How do you overcome the adversity? You know, how do you play in bad weather? And I know Stroud, you know, is used to that, but he goes out yesterday. You just see that team becomes a shell of themselves. All the quarterbacks, Pickett, Stroud, right? You know, you go through the list of all the other starters we talked about all season long that have been knocked out. You know, Lawrence is banged up. Burrow, Allen's banged up. No Jones, Watson. You know, Lamar got banged up. Aaron Rodgers gone. Whatchamacallit, the kid that I really like, Justin Herbert. I mean, that's a bad loss as well. It's been a bad season for quarterbacks, injury-wise.
All I know is the Eagles are at this point, they're not, listen, say whatever you want, and I'll still wear my gear proudly. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I'll wear it. I'll talk the most smack out of anybody. But at this point, am I convinced that the Eagles, even if, and Rich, to go back to your comment earlier when you said that I'd rather have an easier schedule at this point, I don't want it. I'd rather them try to play lights out to keep that momentum going into the playoffs. Because, again, if you're going to play easy, and if you think the Giants are just going to roll over nobody else, you know this more than anybody. But I don't want the Eagles to have an easy schedule going into the playoffs, because my thing is you should be earning it. You haven't showed in the last 2 weeks that you deserve to be there. You just haven't. And again, I'm not trying to say this, people like, oh, my God, he's doing a homer crap. No, I'm just telling everybody that right now the Eagles do not deserve, at this point, a spot in the NFC Championship because they're not playing as a well-oiled machine. We saw it earlier during the year, but we're starting to see that we're now playing constant catch-up. We saw it last night. There's only so many games. Even as great as Pat Mahomes is, he can only play so many games coming from behind. Any quarterback, for that matter. But right now, we see Jalen Hurts trying to do too much of nothing. If there's nothing there, throw the ball away. He's trying to be Houdini. There was only one. He's no longer gone. Unless you're, what's her name? Dua Lipa, and she's got that new song out now, Houdini. I mean, that's the only other thing. But other than that, listen, I call it the way it is. Jalen Hurts tries to do too much, and there's nothing there. Just throw the freaking ball away.
But real quick, Angel, to counter that, when he does that and he improvises like he did against Kansas City, like he did against Buffalo, when he scrambles all over the place and makes great plays, we're not saying that, are we? Right? Because that's one of his strengths, to improvise and to just basically pull you-know-what out of his you-know-what, pull a rabbit out of his ass at times. But that's his strength. That's what makes him such a great quarterback. I only brought up the scheduling for this reason. If you get home field, you win one game. You're hosting the NFC Championship. Don't you want to take your shot and your chances in Philly than have to potentially go on the road? So if the scheduling works out in their favor, I'm not saying go out and be soft these last couple games, but go 3-1, get that home field advantage, because I'd much rather, if you're an Eagles fan, have San Fran or Dallas come to Philly than you have to go out there come January on the road. I think it's a different animal, man. I do. And to your point, what hurts, it's not all on him. Their offense it's broken. There's no identity. I feel like I keep harping on the same point, but there's no identity. Is this a running first team? Do they pass? Do they set up the pass to run? Do they try to establish the run? They're not doing any of that, and it falls on the coordinator, and then it falls on the head coach.
And just to add to that, Angel, when you're talking about Hurts is most effective when the running game is working to perfection. That's when he is most effective. Because look, when the running game isn't working, Rich knows this, when Saquon Barkley for the Giants is running the football, it opens up everything else. So with Hurts, if you're only going to give DeAndre Swift the ball 13 times for 39 yards, what do you expect? Then Hurts feels like he has to do everything himself. And then, I get it. You have Devontae Smith, you have A.J. Brown, you have Goddard. I get it. But, again, Rich, December, January, if you cannot run the football, you are not going anywhere.
I understand that, and you made that point earlier about Swift. I get it, but it's not. Listen, Jalen can't be the magician either. That is up to the play calling. everyone can blame everything you want to on Jalen Hurts. The same way, like I say, stop trying to make plays. It's not there. Everybody knows that they have to run the ball, but Nick Sirianni and crew are not getting the same message. They hear it. Believe me, they hear from every fan from every place that Eagles that play, whether it be in Seattle, Australia, where there's a big Philly fan base out there. They hear from everywhere. They're just not doing it. No matter how we can say it 10 ways from Sunday, well, guess what? It's not going to happen. Maybe, just maybe, if the Butthurt Society tells them, maybe they'll get the clue then. I don't know what else to tell you, but it's just not going to happen. Go ahead, Rich.
Are you comfortable right now with the way the game is being called offensively by the Philadelphia Eagles?
Not at all.
Okay. So again, take a walk with me now. Go to the head coach. Is it just possible we overvalued and overestimated this head coach because of the success last year? Because a defensive coordinator and an offensive coordinator, if they're worth their salt, if they're worth their price in gold, they actually mask a head coach's deficiencies. Is it possible now that the rah-rah Sirianni, shove it up your you-know-what, Kansas City, get the hell out of here, whatever the hell he was friggin' doing, the clown show, is it just possible he's getting exposed a little bit?
Of course. I'm not going to disagree there.
Okay, well, what I'm saying is everything, there's all equal parts involved. Like, there's blame to go all over the place. And it just goes back to what I was saying to you, and I can appreciate your opinion and going back and forth with me. I feel as though right now at this point, they need home field advantage. I don't trust this team going on the road against San Francisco and Dallas. That's my point. So finish out the season 3-1, turn it around. If they whack Seattle and Hurts is 20 of 25 for 288 and 3 touchdowns, when we come on the air Monday, you know what everyone's going to say? Everything's back to normal. They'll be fine. If they don't, it's a lot of cutlets that are going to be served.
And hold on. Speaking of, there is a comment for Ryan, but weren't you not supposed to have an Eagles t-shirt because you bet?
Yeah, I have to get to my local Walmart or wherever I can find a shitty Eagles shirt. Or I can go to Five Below
on Monday.
I can go to Five Below and get myself a shitty Eagles shirt for like probably $5.
Ooh.
So I'll wear it.
Well, I figure if it's Five Below, are they under $5?
No, you'll never find them at Five Below. The only ones you'll find at Five Below is Kansas City, only because they do like to sell them for $5 because that's what the team is worth right now. Anyways, back to the text line here as AJ in San Antonio. Ryan agrees with you. He says, I agree with Ryan on Tyreek Hill. Sure, Tua is throwing him the ball, but Tyreek is not only the number 1 in receiving yards this year, he's number 2 in receptions and number 1 in yards after catch or yak for those.
Wide receiver will never win a wide receiver will not win an MVP. Purdy is leading the league in pretty much every friggin' statistical category, and Dak is right there.
Yeah, no, could be.
That's
stamp the time. Rich Q at 6:56 Eastern Standard Time on December 11th, 2023 says that Tyreek Hill will not win the MVP this year.
He's a great player. I'm just saying wide receivers typically, name me a wide receiver that won an MVP.
Not that I can think of. Not that I can think of. In the Super Bowl, yes, MVP of the Super Bowl, but not.
Actually, as one of my good friends would say, name me a diva wide receiver that actually won a Super Bowl, and I can't really count Odell. But
didn't Jerry Rice win an MVP way back when?
Jerry Rice never won I don't think he won a league MVP.
Super Bowl MVP.
Super Bowl, yeah.
Yeah. Joey B, before we go into the break, says, Rich and Ryan, the new odd couple. Rich is Tony Randall, and Neff is Jack Klugman.
I want to be Klugman. Klugman was the smoker, played poker, had the hat, the sports writer. Come on, Joey B, what are you doing here?
And
Tony
Randall
had
another one.
Hair, though.
He did have another one. Oh, there it is. Then he quickly, Brian, I get to yours. Then he switched it up to Felix and Oscar. And Brian Husta, as he says, Eagles just got out of the pool, major shrinkage. Yeah, well, listen, Brian, I have to agree. I would have to agree.
Great Seinfeld reference.
Exactly. Get a grip. Let's see. Antonio Brown won a Super Bowl if you want to talk about diva. What? That came from left field. What?
Yeah,
listen, Dylan will not be on at 7 o'clock. He has just been banned from the show where he came out from left field with that comment. Even Ohtani can't figure that one out. Holy molies. Wow.
Yeah,
Come on.
So instrumental as well.
Yeah, he's 1 for 4 tonight. Boy, Get a Grip, you better come back strong on that one because you are 1 for 4. But that came from way out there in left field. Anyways, after the break, we'll get into it. I don't know. I may not allow him in. He better have a great IMSA update. That's all I have to say. Because if not, he's going to get bambooed and bamboozled all at the same time. There's my cuz. Cuzzo says Jalen better get his head out of his ass. You don't have to put the asterisks. We can say whatever we want to here. This is not for the weak-minded.
Cool.
This is a very, very adult-orientated digital radio air program. That's why it is called Martinez Company, because anything that my family knows, we tell it the way it is. Except for Ryan, he might sugarcoat it a little bit and then come back with his Florida Gator bucket hat, put it in a bucket, toss it all out, and you never know what comes out from there. And by the way, if you're going to wear, I know I'm about to hit the hard out here. If you're going to wear your Gators bucket hat, why did you not sport your Gator hoodie?
I sported that too much. I haven't worn this in a good 2 years.
And there's a reason for that.
That's right, because it's all faded and because they suck. So
yeah, that's right. See, you hit it on the head there because they were garbage.
But I still wear it. I still support my team, even though they suck ass. So
yeah, well, just like Dallas there. I understand.
It's
No,
like
I'm not
Kansas
talking about
City.
sucking ass. When you used to support the team, I'm not talking about sucking ass. Because if not, AJ in San Antonio is going to hit me up real quick. I'm not saying he suck ass by any means. My cousin comes back. And I know I'm going to get hard out here. I understand. Well, in that case, Jalen better fucking get his head out of his ass. And there you go. See, that's it. My mom's probably saying, "Ay, mijo, I'm going to talk to you after the show, mijo." There's too much cursing going on. My cousin knows exactly who I'm talking about here. But anyways, after the break, we'll get into a little bit more. I already see the scrub in there in his Santa Claus outfit. So he's probably going to do a much better job than your bucket head there, Slick. So after the break, we'll get into it a little bit more. Martinez Company coming back at you right after this. And it might even be a short break. So we'll talk to you right after these messages.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've been waiting, and now it's here. TBSN, the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Make some noise!
Tune in at 7 a.m. and hear Pete Shepard till 10. And then Defoe and Luby from 10 a.m. till noon. And then the man himself, Tony Bruno, and the Tony Bruno Show starts at 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Martinez and Company from 6 p.m. to 8. And we've got more to come. The Tony Bruno Sports Network. Download the app. Tell your friends the game is on. TBSN.
Now, I told you we'll be right back. It'll probably be something short. And you guys think I'm kidding. Listen, things work. It is Monday Night Football here on Martinez and Company. And not so much for the guy that's back here. It looks like he's got a hospital bed behind him, but that's besides the point. For those who can't see on digital radio, he's got, yes. For those who don't know, Get a Grip, because he's out there on the racetrack. He's out there exercising and everything else. He has one of those ones, you know, when they used to crank him up in the hospital and the head would come up and then the legs. So he likes to sandwich himself in the middle and create a V for himself. But it is, nonetheless, Dylan Spalding from Get a Grip. Dylan, how are you, sir?
I'm good. Guys, thanks so much for having me on. Ryan, Angel, so good to see you guys. Rich, very nice to meet you. Excited to see you with the team and have you on the team. I'm looking forward to getting to hear your stuff and some of your thoughts in different sports. So I'm looking forward to seeing how you guys all will do here going forward. Excited to be on the show again tonight, guys.
Well, I appreciate that. I just have a quick question. Did you get turnover service in that room or what?
Well, I mean, listen, I got the glass of wine right here, so I don't know. I might potentially.
All I'm waiting to hear is like a,
and that will be Dylan's last night on the show. Welcome to the introduction to Rich Quinones.
Is it box one?
I think it's just time for me to go now.
You're good. I was curious. Is that a Ramada? I'm just, I know. No, you got a good sense of humor already, man. So we like that. That's good.
By the way, my cousin understood exactly what I said. He says, LOL, oh Lord, your mom's about to slap you in the face with her Bible. And she's down this way, by the way. She's down here in Fort Myers. She's at her house with my beautiful niece. I think my dad ended up taking her over to her house. So then I got to call her up, too, because she did leave me a nice voicemail. But if they're doing nothing else, well, I don't know. The internet in my mom's house out there in Fort Myers. Until she moves in completely, It's worse than dial-up. Like AOL can beat her at her house. That's how bad the cell phone service is at my mom's house. But she refuses to get internet because she's like, why don't you come to my house? You can do the show from there. Yeah, okay. Unless I had a ham-cranked radio where I can just constantly just dial it all the time and be able to do it that way. But yeah, listen, I don't know. Love my mom to death. I'm glad my dad was able enough to take her down there. So hopefully they're having a good time. I know she'll be here till next week. I know it's a lot warmer here than it is back in New England where she's originally from. But Mom, if you're listening, love you very much. I appreciate it. Again, happy birthday to my son. I hope he has a great outing tonight. My cousin says, you gentlemen have a great evening. Keep up the good work. Thank you, cuz, for listening in and tuning in. I do appreciate it here on Martinez Company. By the way, don't forget, directly after this show, for the first time on these digital air radio waves, you will hear AJ Johnson from the Bleacher Brothers from 8 to 10 p.m. I will be listening in. Rich will be listening in. Ryan will be listening in. Dylan, I don't know. I don't know if does your clock cut off at 8 o'clock, then you have to go to bed.
I don't know. We'll see how we do after this last line, and then we'll go from there. So,
all right.
Put your do not disturb sign on your door.
Yeah. Mom, I'm cleaning my room. I'm just kidding. God. Dylan does not live with his mom. He's got his own little bachelor pad, so that is a joke.
Yeah,
he's got his own little bachelor pad. But Dylan, obviously last week you were up there at Daytona. From the picture you sent and obviously from the action you saw up there, it seemed like they had a great time. Obviously the weather cooperated really well because this week would have been a whole different story. How was it up there in Daytona last week?
Yeah, so kind of talking a little bit about IMSA testing for fans or for people who are listening who are unfamiliar with what IMSA is. IMSA is actually owned by NASCAR, and IMSA is basically the North American sports car racing series that competes here all over the U.S. from California all the way over here into Florida. And yeah, they had their testing this week, and I have to say, there was a lot of exciting stuff that happened. We saw some new cars out on grid. That Ford Mustang that I showed you, Angel, you were mentioning earlier, that is actually a new car that's being introduced on grid this upcoming season. So that's a really exciting thing to see that car in person and to hear that car and how deep it sounded. It's going to be a really exciting car heading into next season. There were some new prototypes as well. Lamborghini is actually joining into a Ford car manufacturer grid that was already coming in from last season. So now we'll have 5 manufacturers heading into next season. And unfortunately, they won't be running an entire schedule, but this was their first time testing in the U.S. They've been testing overseas, over in Europe, and this was their first time on track, on a U.S. track at all. So this was a really big deal for Lamborghini and for Iron Lynx, who's a team that's going to be supporting it. So for fans who are listening who are a little confused maybe with how that works, usually a team will run a manufacturer basically. So Lamborghini is being run through Iron Lynx, and Iron Lynx is a team that's going to be running that car for the upcoming season in a small capacity. They won't be running the entire season, but yeah, weather was nice. It was a little cold. I'll have to admit that probably played a factor in regards to heating up the tires a little bit for these cars, because these are not your standard NASCAR stock cars. These cars take a little bit to heat up the tires, heat up the car itself. So it was definitely nice. It was nice to be back on track and seeing a lot of the new cars and some of the new ones that were actually very quick as well and showed a lot of performance. I'm really looking forward to seeing how some of these new entries on grid will perform heading into next season.
Now, the prototype cars that you saw up there, I think that was, Tuesday you were telling me when they had the prototype cars? How did those cars perform? Because, again, you talked about, it was a little chilly. I mean, not as this week, it's a different story. They would have been up there this week. I mean, it would have taken them forever to get the testing done. But how did the prototype cars end up making out?
Yeah, so the prototype cars did pretty good. There was a couple cars that had some issues. Obviously, when you test 2 days and are going full speed and really getting as much intel and data as you can, they're going to be a little bit different, obviously. So for fans who are wondering how the classes work, it's GTP, which is the top class, and those are the quickest of the quickest in terms of classes for cars. You got the LMP2s, which are just slightly below, and also they are not hybrids as well, which is something that's really, really unique for that GTP class. And then you also have GTD Pro and GTD, which basically the only difference is they're the same car, except the driver level is different. So GTD Pro, there's a certain level of driver you have to be. There's a rating that they base it off of. So there's like silver, gold, bronze, different levels, if you will, in terms of driver rating. So yeah, the prototypes look good. I think there was a lot of exciting stuff. A lot of teams, some teams decided to do more testing than others. Some teams kind of reserved a lot of their testing, and I don't know if that was due in part of a strategy based off the team, or if it was just due, to with the conditions and some of the other factors going along with it as well, maybe not trying to wear out the car and such, obviously you don't want to, overuse these cars in a testing platform. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff that happened with the new prototypes, and obviously the GTP class, which was the most exciting class last year. There were 9 entries last year, Angel, in the class last year, and 7 of them had a shot to win the championship. That just shows how competitive this class is, and also how tight this class is, especially heading into next year. If anything comes from last year going into next year, it is that this class will probably be very exciting heading into 2024.
Now, for those who don't know, Dylan, when it comes into racing, and you mentioned a Ford earlier, are there any other American motor vehicle cars in there other than European cars?
Yes, Corvette also will be fielding a new Corvette Z06, which is a updated version of the car, basically. So Corvette had previously a prior model. Now they're running a new model this upcoming season. Pratt Miller Racing will be fielding that car, and that is a beauty. And it's so great to see Corvette and Ford unveiling these new cars, because this is a North American sports car series, and as much as it's good to have these European manufacturers on the grid, it's nice to see Corvette and Ford coming in with these new toys, and also their driver lineups are incredible. They have guys who won the Rolex 24, who's won the Le Mans 24, guys who are proven veterans on their driver lineup for this upcoming season, and it's going to be an exciting battle. It's going to be a rivalry. I mean, Ford and Corvette, people know how big of a rivalry that is, between those two manufacturers. So to have those two cars brand new on the grid, I mean, it's going to be exciting to watch. It might be the best rivalry we've seen in IMSA in a while. I mean, you guys can compare it to maybe Ford versus Ferrari, some of the older rivalries back in the day. I mean, this is going to be an exciting time to be a racing fan. And yeah, there's Corvette. We have basically Chevy, obviously, Ford, and a couple other as well American manufacturers as well, more so in some of the lower series. But yeah, the Chevy versus Ford rivalry that should brew out of these 2 new entries on grid for both teams, it's going to be really exciting to watch.
I feel like if you don't follow, or if you never gone to like a live race, whether it's stock car, whether it's NASCAR, whether it's this, it's kind of like a niche, like a cliché, like a cliquey fan base, so to speak. I mean, yep. I can only speak when I was doing radio in Delaware and we were near Dover Downs. When you're, the Monster Mile, when you see it up close and personal, then, people are sitting there like, this is not exciting, or I can get bored, or here you go, it's tedious, lap after lap. But, I'm wondering, have you seen a influx when it comes to just like the fans who are supporting this sport? Because it is a sport at the end of the day. And, yep. Can you just, kind of expand on that for a moment?
Yeah, no, for sure. This year was actually the biggest year I have ever seen IMSA grow. I mean, it was a massive year. To kind of take it into perspective, and I'm going to also go into some other sports car series as well just for a minute, because not only is there IMSA, but there's also WEC, which is run by FIA, which runs F1 and some of the big major racing series. WEC this year at the Le Mans race, again, not only did they have NASCAR on the grid, which was unprecedented and something that doesn't ever really happen much, but also looking at some of the big names that came out to the track, LeBron James waved the green flag at the Le Mans race. That's a big deal. That's a really big deal. And this year at Daytona, the crowd was massive. And I've been to Daytona. I've been fortunate enough to go to the Rolex 24 for past couple of seasons, which is one of IMSA's premier races of the season. And to see the crowd level, to see the amount of people that were there, it almost felt like I was at the Daytona 500. I mean, that is how crazy it was because of these new GTP cars, these new hybrids, these, the technology advancements that are happening in sports car racing is truly phenomenal. And people don't realize what we see on track in racing translates to what we drive in our everyday life. These cars that are coming out, we see electric cars, hybrid cars, blame it on racing, because racing's the reason why a lot of this is happening, which, again, I know, people have their thoughts about it, but it is definitely exciting to see the technology advancements in racing, because it can only mean better, and it can only mean more fans wanting to see these, unique and complex machines up close.
Listen, not so true, my friend, because Ryan is the only guy that has a 454 inside of his Yugo with wingtip pipes coming out on the side. So he's done something complete. He sent me a picture. He wanted me to send it to you to see if he can bring the car up in the track, but he wouldn't be able to get there on time. But he's the only guy that I know of, a 454 in a Yugo. And those who don't know what a Yugo is, Google it. You guys will laugh.
Well, I will say a couple weeks ago, I was at this event. It was in Bradenton, and it's called Freedom Factory. They have this event called the 2.4 Hours of Late Mullets, and they were driving in Crown Victorias around this little small, short track. So, hey, listen, if they could drive in those and minivans, even they were driving on in the race as well, they could drive in anything. So, you could literally drive in any car, honestly.
Bill, I'm interested. How did the Porsche Penske cars drive? And Andretti has a 2-team GTP prototype.
Yeah, so talking about the Porsche Penske, they probably had the most track time out of the entire week in terms of the prototypes. And granted, the prototypes only ran 2 days. The GTDs ran 3 days. So they ran the all-class day, which was on Thursday, and then they ran 2 separate days. And for people who are wondering with this testing, the main purpose of it is to set these BOP standards, which are basically to try to keep a lot of the manufacturers close together in regards to performance and to not try to allow one manufacturer to kind of overtake another, kind of like what F1 does. That's my little rant there on F1, if you will. But nonetheless, the Porsches looked really good. They had a great season last year, and they're a hungry team. I mean, this is a team last year that just came short of winning a championship. They had great success last year in their season in the GTP class. They had a lot of wins last year. They were competitive. They were probably, I would say, they were on a different level than most of the other teams. And for Acura, I think the number 40 entry, which is the one with Jensen Button and Jordan Taylor, and for anybody seeing the driver list, Wayne Taylor Racing is going all in next year. They got an F1 world champion. They got an Indy 500 champion joining their lineup next year. I mean, they are going all in next year. And they were a little bit slow in the turns. I will be honest, Acura a little bit slow heading into the turns, but I would say Porsche definitely looked impressive. And the Lamborghini actually topped out. This is a car that's only going to race like 4 races this year in IMSA, and it topped out on the charts in the unofficial times. That's insane for a team that's literally fielding a car for the first year, and it's never been on a U.S. track ever. So that's pretty incredible. But yeah, the Porsches look good, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they do in year 2 with a pretty stellar driver lineup they're going to have heading into next year.
So now, are they coming back, Dylan, prior to the Rolex 24? Are they coming back again for another set of testing? I mean, we're only in December, so are they allowed to come back in January, or are they going to just wait now until the event in February?
Yeah, so great to bring that up there. So they will be doing some extra testing. Some teams will do testing at other tracks. There will be no more Daytona testing. This was IMSA's sanctioned test. So they had 43 entries here at this test. Obviously, not every team was out on track as much as other teams were, and each team kind of had their own strategy heading into this test, heading into the week. So there will not be any testing, I believe, run by IMSA, if I'm not mistaken. But in terms of what's to come, obviously the Roar Before the 24 is the week before the Rolex 24. That is basically their qualifying weekend. It's similar to kind of how the Daytona 500 kind of works, or used to work, I should say, where they used to have qualifying weeks leading up to the race. So they will have the Roar Before the 24. They'll do, kind of some practices and such leading up to the Rolex 24 weekend, which is the following weekend after. So they will have some more testing, if you will, coming up, but it's really going to be, they're going to be in the thick of things when they get to Daytona in mid-January. So, you're going to have to be on your game if you're one of these teams heading into mid-January, because by the time you get to Daytona in January, you're already getting prepared and ready to go to lay out a lap time and get ready for the Rolex 24. And that's kind of the big thing is, these teams are going to have to be ready and prepared heading into Daytona, heading into January. So,
see, these guys are the car guys. I'm the movie guy. So the question I need to ask you is Le Mans, Ford versus Ferrari, or Days of Thunder? Which is really the most accurate depiction here when we're talking about stock car, NASCAR? If you had your choice here, we're going Oscar worthy. Where do we go?
Got to go Le Mans. Le Mans is one of my favorites.
Le Mans?
Yeah, Le Mans is one of my favorites. That's a great movie. Ford versus Ferrari was really good, although I will say their Daytona scene was very inaccurate. They did it at Auto Club Speedway in California, because I can easily tell that track any day of the week. So I'm going to go with Le Mans number 1, Ford versus Ferrari number 2, and Days of Thunder number 3. I love all 3 movies, but that would probably be my 1, 2, 3 at this point. So
You're sticking cold trickle in the back? I'll cruise and cold trickle?
Listen, I'm sorry.
It ain't rubbing, it ain't racing, Harry.
Listen, I love all three of the movies too. They would probably be my top three. But if I were to rank it, I would probably put Le Mans as my number one. I mean, Steve McQueen. Anything Steve McQueen is usually pretty good. And kind of going with movies and stuff. Speaking of the movie guy here with you, Rich. Obviously, Paul Newman. He's kind of got that tie-in here with racing. Obviously, he's raced actually at Daytona.
Yes,
if you look at the 2001 Rolex 24, this is actually incredible. That grid featured Paul Newman, and Dale Earnhardt was in that grid with his son racing. That was one of his last races he's ever competed in. Go back and watch that race if you're a fan of racing. That is one of my favorite races. He did not
want to stunt double in Le Mans either. He wanted to do all the racing by himself. Yep. Huge Paul Newman fan. Absolutely. Yeah.
No stroker race. No stroker race. No.
Straight to video.
Yeah.
Talladega Nights.
All right, Ryan is right there with me. That's the two that I was actually thinking. So Ryan and I are on the same page there. Let's see. Penguin AZ says, "Can we get back to the Eagles talk?" Listen, we'll get back into the Eagles talk. We still got another half hour to go. Believe me, we'll get into it. But speaking of, because we can temporarily here switch it over, and I thank Dylan obviously for doing the coverage up there at IMSA. He was hot and heavy last week on the phone there, talking about all the things he was able to see. And I will say this much: if you guys are brand new here to the show, first of all, thank you for tuning in to Martinez Company. If you guys would like to make your comments, you can do it live here with us on the social medias. Also, you can call or text in at 844-644-TONY, 844-644-8669. But for those who don't know, Dylan and I are really good friends. We live, literally down the street from each other. And not only that, as I teased Dylan, and he knows this, over on the Broad Street side of the house, Dylan has been going at it since the age of 14, 15 years old. And Dylan, I will say this much, when people come up with excuses of why I can't do this, why I can't do that, this young man started reaching out to Major League Baseball players even before he was basically old enough to try out for a team. And I'm not saying that even jokingly either. No. He went out there and was determined to be different from everyone. So it goes to show that this new upcoming age, if you guys want to work hard the way Dylan is doing it. Right now, he's over at USF with his internship. He covered USF football. He's now going to be covering USF basketball. Hopefully, him and I will be together there on Saturday so we can cover the games together, including the ReliaQuest Bowl game that's coming up here in Tampa, which we'll end up having fun together. But Dylan is one of those young men that if he puts his mindset and he knows he's going to achieve something, he's going to do it. Also, he was responsible for, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, having the live broadcast at your former college. If you want to talk about that, Dylan.
Yeah. So, I was basically one of the key components to us getting live sports broadcasts for my junior college. So prior to me coming to my junior college, which again, small little school, nothing major, nothing big, but it is major for me to be able to be the first, one of the first broadcasters in the school's history, and to be able to get broadcasting started with my junior college, and a college that has been so great to me and gave me a lot of opportunity. I mean, we got to do baseball, basketball, softball we did for a little bit as well. We did some other fun stuff as well. And to be kind of tabbed as the first ever broadcaster in that school's history, nice. It's a pretty big honor for me. And I really take pride in that. And I still talk to everybody to this day. I'm actually going out to lunch with my broadcast partner on Thursday, or out to breakfast, I should say. So it's always great to be able to, keep those connections. And I always say to people, any chance you get to be able to make a connection with somebody, it's always, you never know where that connection may lead. And, it's been a blessing in disguise, if you will, to be able to do what I've been able to do with my junior college. It's been awesome. And see where it has grown to is extraordinary, because I never thought I would have gotten it to go past one sport, let alone now I did 3 and 4 and such. So it was pretty remarkable to see that progress and how much it grew.
That's the beauty of JUCO, though, to be honest. Yeah. If you're there for a year or two and then you turn around and you transfer, you have more opportunities to do stuff. I mean, you can pretty much work at a radio station and be the voice of of all their sports, where you jump to like a 4-year university. Because I did the same thing. When did you go transferred? Went to a liberal arts college. I got my feet wet in radio when I was with JUCO, and then I took that, the college radio station route and all the other crap that we have to endure. Thankfully, you don't have to worry about that, because 20, 30 years ago, it was bad. But man, kudos to you, man. Keep up the great work. That's pretty outstanding to do that.
Thank you. Yeah, this journey has been crazy, man. To as Angel had kind of mentioned, to reaching out to baseball players when I was 15, 16, however old I was. Probably in Angel's words, he probably used like 10 years old probably when I first started. although that would be bad, Angel, because then that means I'll be drinking this illegally, so that won't be good. But no, in all seriousness, to be able to kind of been able to build my reputation and be able to meet these people and not only to meet them, but to also become friends with these guys and to be able to continue to talk to them to this day. It's been awesome, because and you guys probably know this, or you guys definitely know this as well, given your guys' background and history in radio and sports. I mean, once you make connections with these people, they're friends for life usually. So it's good to be able to meet these people and to be able to still be able to talk to them and keep in touch and to have that relationship, not only as a, in a working relationship, but also as a friendship as well is super awesome. And for me, I take that to heart, because I've made more friends working in this industry than I probably have actually going to school and doing other stuff outside of here. So it's been really awesome to be able to be in this. And again, sports does just amazing things. So it's truly a pleasure to be able to be a part of a small little part of this giant ocean that is sports. So
listen, all the kudos goes to you. I got 2 messages. One breaking news, but I'll get that in a second. And then the other one is AJ in San Antonio says, I've got a 2019 Mustang Bullet model. The car to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Steve McQueen Classic Bullet. Had this special ordered at 475 horsepower. He's got Ryan already beat. What is Hugo? Cold air intake from the GT 350. Manic ride suspension and Brembo brakes. I love the car. Once again, AJ in San Antonio. That already sounds like a badass car. That's all I'm going to say about that one. That sounds really good. I listen. My stepfather had 2 muscle cars. Unfortunately, both times, ironically, was hit in the rear by drunk drivers. Both times on his way home during the night shift. And he had a 1970 Chevelle and then a 1969 Dodge Charger. Both cars are absolutely. The Charger he had. Specially custom painted by his uncle, candy apple red and white. It was a thing of beauty, but unfortunately someone ended up hitting him. And as we're coming up here on the break real quickly here, the other thing that I want to say, other than, by the way, Penguin AZ said, what up, Dylan? And congrats, Dylan.
Thank you.
And the other thing, too, is that I want to make sure I don't leave out, not only with everything he is involved with USF and IMSA, also with the Dunedin Blue Jays as that season comes around. So that's why I said, listen, you guys can come up with 50 million excuses. This young man, I used to call him a kid before, but he's 21 now, so I got to call him a man. But this young man, he knows how to work it. And I'm very proud of Dylan because he doesn't stop. Him and I go back and forth a lot. Love the kid to death. He knows it because, again, I know I just called you a kid. Sorry. I know you're a young man.
Good. It's all good.
Yeah, it's the bond that you build with people. Although some people were like, wait a minute, aren't you like 50-something? He's like 20. Let's just get that out of your brain. I'm like the older uncle, all right? The older, actually nice uncle. And by the way, before we get into breaking news, Dylan is sponsored by Jergens. Yes, you can rub it hard, but as long as you're rubbing it when you're racing. So just let you know on that one there. Breaking news. North Carolina redshirt sophomore quarterback Drake May tells ESPN that he's foregoing the remainder of his eligibility at UNC to declare for the NFL draft. He is a strong contender for the number 1 overall pick in the 2024 NFL draft. Wow, so that means that No. Who would be? Carolina.
Yeah, they're trading that.
Chicago.
Is it Chicago? No.
Remember,
Carolina's only got 1 win.
They don't. No. You have to go back and you have to remember what they traded.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
So it would go right now as it stands. Tankathon is a great website. Carolina, New England, Arizona, Washington, and then the Giants. So Carolina, again, from the Bears. So the Bears would have that number 1 overall pick.
All right. Well, and they talked. Well, we'll get into it after the break. I know we're coming up Dylan, go Pack Go.
I don't know about that. Go Bucks go. I don't know after that win yesterday. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening with the Bucks down the stretch. I don't have much faith. I will say though, Baker's done okay. He's done solid for us. I give him credit. We're at least staying competitive. So we'll see what ends up happening. Yeah, exactly. Well, that doesn't say much about that division either, and it doesn't say much about our team either. So we'll see. But guys, thanks again so much for having me on. It's been a pleasure, and obviously, thank you, thanks Ryan, thanks guys. Again, it's been a pleasure to be on, and looking forward to January 1st once racing season kicks off. We got the Rolex 24 and the 500 coming up. I mean, there's a lot of exciting stuff coming up here at racing.
It is. It's the only sport that they start out with a Super Bowl first and then go into the regular season. Figure that one out. So, and by the way, Penguin AC said, come on, because you're not a Packers fan. Gracias, Dylan, as Penguin AC. And for those who like to hit, by the way, I didn't even, because of the Christmas stuff, I didn't even come back to the normal Spanish stuff, but it's because it led from one to the other. Anyways, Penguin AZ says, gracias, Dylan. For those who don't know what that means, if you hit number 1 on your phone, it says thank you. Yes, we do have Google Translate built into this fine show. So when you guys don't know what we're talking about in Spanish, just hit number 1 on your phone. And if you do, hey, listen, I don't know what else to tell you. So after the break, we'll get into some more NFL talk. I know the Penguin AZ is dying to get into it. And don't forget, right after this show, if you guys stay tuned in, you will hear AJ Johnson and the Bleacher Brothers making their debut, their digital radio air debut here tonight on the Tony Bruno Sports Network. So they will be on right after us. So they will be on from 8 to 10 Monday through Thursday. They're leaving Friday off for savings if you guys listen to us on Friday. So they will be not on Fridays. They'll be on Monday through Thursday. So you'll listen to them. And then the best of will run all the way throughout the night. Then start your morning with the Pete Shepard Show with Pete Shepard in the morning from 7 to 10 a.m., followed by Defoe and Luby from 10 to 12. Then the best of, again, from 12 to 3. Then the legendary broadcaster, I should put it all in one big sentence there, Tony Bruno and Ms. Robin from 3 to 6. And then us right back here, Martinez Company, from 6 to 8 p.m. So I believe we could be here another Christmas interlude. So I will not play the usual music because we may have some Christmas music coming up right now.
You know I got a break.
You're listening to Martinez and Company.
That's right.
On the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
Where are you, Christmas? Why can't I find you? Why have you gone away? Where is the laughter you used to bring me? Why can't I hear music play? My world is changing. heart and your mind. You will feel like Christmas all the time. Oh, I feel you, Christmas. I know I found you. You never fade away. The joy of Christmas stays here inside us. Fills each and every heart with love. Where are you, Christmas? Fill your heart with love.
Now, back to Martinez and Company
Always playing in my car.
on the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
I'm good, yeah, I'm feeling alright. Baby, I'ma have the best fucking night of my life. And wherever it takes me, I'm down for the ride. Baby, don't you know I'm good, yeah, I'm feeling alright. 'Cause I'm good, yeah, I'm feeling alright. Baby, I'ma have the best fucking night of my life. And wherever it takes me, I'm down for the ride. Baby, don't you know I'm good, yeah, I'm feeling alright.
Thank you all for coming back here. It is the fourth quarter, as we always say on Martinez and Company, and we just had a fest there for a little bit. I know. Listen, I felt like right after that, it should be like, and thank you for tuning in to the Hallmark Channel. Now on with another Christmas story. No, listen, Miss Robin did a great job. Not only for making sure that she was able to get this music in during the breaks, which is absolutely great. Also, the new bumpers. I was not expecting that. And when the lady said, I have Martinez Company playing in the car, thank you to whomever that lady was. I do appreciate it. I think she may called in over the weekend and said, thank you. So now she's part of it. Feeling all right is definitely Penguin AZ as we're getting into some more football talk. By the way, two things. One was Get a Grip says, this sounds like Ryan's karaoke song. And then the Penguins AZ follows up with, is this Channel Park's walk-up song? So listen, no one knows. By the way, speaking about walk-up song, good golly, Miss Molly. How much more are we going to get into the baseball stratosphere before we get back into some NFL talk? What Ohtani with supposedly, so, and Rich, you would probably know about this as well, but supposed and alleged over the weekend, a lot of folks were putting their bets in on betting sports apps saying that he was going to become a Toronto Blue Jay. Supposedly he was supposed to go wheels up, land in Toronto and say, ta-da, I'm here. But the Dodgers said, hold on, not so fast. $700 million cash, homie. Here you go. How much is enough? Because now if Ohtani's driving those numbers and Bryce Harper talks about he wants an extension, are we going to start getting into the billion-dollar stratosphere?
Listen, I told you he was $600 million. We talked about the Giants and the Dodgers. I think we might have even all kind of agreed the consensus was one of those teams. There's a report coming out that he's going to have to defer $680 million in his Dodgers deal. I mean, think about that for a minute. I don't even know how that's acceptable. That's probably something we can talk about later in the week. But this is the price of doing business now, because you're not only looking at what the player is worth, but you're also looking at what the player is worth from a merchandising, walk up to the gate. I mean, the Dodgers draw. It doesn't matter. TV contracts, broadcasting rights, the branding, everything. Listen, I have no problem with this. I don't know if the Yankees would have spent $600-700 million. Good, go ahead. I can't begrudge another man for making money if that's what they're willing to spend. I have absolutely no problem with that. But yeah, this is where we're going. You're going to start to see that it's going to be, 6, 7, 800 million. We're getting to that point. Look at the NBA friggin' contracts. Angel, you, myself, and Ryan can be the 10th guy on the bench, averaging 2 minutes a game, and we can make 1.6 million, 2, 3, $4 million.
Yep.
What the hell do we care?
It is insane. Dylan says from Get a Grip, do you see Ohtani will make $864,196 in 2 days, while meantime, Brock Purdy will make $870,000 in a season? Well, first of all, he's in on his rookie deal, but it's a great point if you want to compare apples to apples there. And Penguin AZ says taxes until I die, which I do find it surprising that you have to. I'm telling you, it's gonna be like Bobby Bowe Day. You have to defer $680 million.
Yeah, apparently it was his idea.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you have owners out there that are willing to pay that kind of money, I can't blame the player for hopping on it. Do I think anybody's worth that kind of money? Hell no. But I mean, if the market's going to pay for it, then look. Hey, everybody thought that, Patrick Mahomes signing that 10-year, $500 million deal was like astronomical. This puts it to shame. So, we'll just see in the next 5 to 10 years, we will see a player, maybe it'll be Ohtani, sign for $1 billion contract. Period.
Yeah, right.
I mean, then you got to start to get into the luxury tax and everything. And again, that's another conversation for another day, but it's just where we're at, man. These contracts are just utterly ridiculous. Why do you think a lot of these golfers, and again, I'm not trying to pivot too much, but why do you think these golfers are leaving the tour and they can go play for the Saudis because they're getting $300, $400, $500 million? Like, who's going to say no to that money? No one is. No one's going to say no to that money. So,
well, I said this to Angel last week. Some of the golfers that have jumped to live swore that they would never jump to live.
Of course.
They were, but
so the checkbook is open.
That's the problem that I have with that.
Yeah.
You're gonna
listen. I hear you, man. I hear you. Absolutely. But that's where we're at. So,
by the way, Brian says, how much money will California take in taxes? All I can do is hit the register sound and just keep saying cha-ching.
Yeah.
Because they just made a huge payday on that one. And then the Penguin AZ says Dodger dogs will be about $50 a dog. Hey, listen, everything's going to go up. Everybody thinks like, oh my God, it's great. We just won. No, you didn't, because everything is about to go up, and the Dodgers aren't done shopping yet.
No.
So,
Angel, real quick, not to cut you off, real quick, pal. $2 million. His salary 2024, 2033, $2 million annually. 2034 to 2043, $68 million annually.
It's just nuts. Get a Grip says, I don't get it. Isn't LIV merged with the PGA? Aren't they still in the same company? No. Nope. Not yet. They're killing that deal as much as they possibly can. So, yeah, they're not merged together. That was a rumor that was put out when the whole thing started, when the players started going over. So, no. Are they trying? Money talks. I'm pretty sure they say the right number.
Remember now, it's a golf tour.
Right.
That's how you kind of get around that, right? The little slippery slope. We call it a golf tour.
Correct.
So
don't forget right after this, Penguin AZ, I'm sorry, comes back with how many of those lower income families do the doers want?
The Dodgers.
No, I don't want to say them, so I just say the doers. But listen, it's California, first of all, is a complete utter mess. Number one. Let's get that one out there. But yet somehow or another, the Dodgers, as much as California says they're broke, one minute they're broke, next minute they're rich, next minute it's always something. And anyways, everybody knows that the Kardashians own California because all those people gave all those girls all your money, and what have they given back? Nada. You're welcome. That's what you get for investing into somebody who's not going to invest back into you. Because I'm quite sure if you were walking down the street, unless there was a camera in front of them, and they say, "What peasant? What would you like?" No, I'm not giving you $1. Okay.
Well, so all this money that the Dodgers are spending doesn't automatically equate to a championship. We've seen it over the last 5-10 years. Even the Yankees are spending all this money on players. Doesn't equate to a championship.
Correct.
So, at this rate,
He was going to land somewhere. So no matter what, wherever he goes, he makes that team substantially better. That's
Ohtani could probably buy California now with that contract.
Anybody could. Anybody. Sean Kilrain comes in and says, "What's up, guys? Asking for a friend. Is Ryan the ring chaser upset with the KC like Mahomes is? And by the way, the Eagles played like garbage." Yes, we talked about it in the beginning of the hour. Ryan said he's not chasing any more rings. He's going to stay with his team over in Kansas City. But if Dallas wins, he might go back to Dallas. Ryan, comments?
No, I said this before. As long as Jerry Jones is part of the equation, I can't do it. As far as the Chiefs go, look, Brett Veach sat on his ass all offseason. He had a chance to do things like get a better receiver, a number one receiver to complement Kelsey. He didn't do it. I know what his thinking was. We won with this group of guys last year. We can do the same this year. And I guess what? It doesn't work like that. He could have made moves. Hell, he could have made moves before the trade deadline. I said he should go after Mike Evans. What a great complimentary receiver Mike Evans would have been to Travis Kelsey. But he didn't do it. And now it's biting him in the ass. Look, and Rich knows this. The offense struggles like that, and you keep putting your defense out in the field. Look, for the first 10 games of the season, Kansas City's defense was playing lights out. But as the Kansas City offense struggles and you put that your defense gets tired. It just does. And something is amiss in Kansas City. And like I said before, too many distractions. Taylor Swift, freaking State Farm commercials. Look, it bites everybody at some point.
Listen, you're the Chiefs fan. You follow the team more closely than I do. I don't subscribe into the whole. I believe something's amiss, but the distraction stuff, I think that's kind of smoke and mirrors to some extent. I do, because you're one point where you are 100% correct is when you think you're better than you really are. You don't think the Jet fan right now, part of the Jet fan is thinking, we really have a quarterback now in Zach Wilson. Based on one game, he can go out the rest of the season, throw for 500 yards. He's not the answer. But the GM might sit there and look at the film and say, look what he was able to do against the Texans in bad weather. Sometimes they overthink. Like, keep it simple, stupid. Sometimes these GMs, these head coaches, I go back and forth with my buddies on these threads during the games. You're overthinking it. Don't reinvent the wheel. If you can run the friggin' football on 4th and 1, 4th and 2, run the football. You don't need to get cute. But I think a lot of times you've got some GMs, you've got some head coaches that want to be cute. And what happens is they think the team, as presently constructed, is better than it really is, and that's not the case. And you look around the league, then you get hit with the injury bug. Go ask Cincinnati. Inconsistency with Buffalo. You're Kansas City. The Giants give Daniel Jones $160, right? 40 a year. Now all of a sudden you got Cinderella might strike 12 tonight with Tommy DeVito. Great story, unbelievable story, but he is not a long-term answer at the starting quarterback position. But someone will see this kid on film, and they might give him a shot. And great, Jersey kid, Don Brasco Pep, Syracuse, wonderful. I think it's a great story. But you have to be realistic when you're evaluating some of these players. And some of these GMs and these head coaches, they don't do it because they're blinded by loyalty, and it bites them in the ass.
And I'll say this, guys, with Kansas City, I don't want to hear you blaming the refs because it's a cop-out. You shouldn't be in that position anyway. You should be winning games at home like that. So to blame it on the refs, yes, Patrick Mahomes blew a gasket last night. I've seen worse. You know what I mean?
By the way, he needs. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Mahomes, stop. You've gotten every friggin' call in your career as a Kansas City Chief. So just don't. And then you got to worry about his wife going out there. And come on, stop.
Yeah, I'm not. I just no more excuses. They've got to try something different, but it's not fixable at this point.
By the way, new comment, Jack O'Donnell says, "What up, yo, Jack, in the back here." So nice to see you, Jack. Also followed by Get a Grip. Oh, good Lord. Angel, do you know that every time the bell rings, an angel gets his wings? Had to say that for the holidays. Love you, my friend. See,
it's a wonderful life.
Hold on a second. That is a wonderful friggin' movie. If you watch that movie and you don't cry at the end when he's talking about what's the friggin' angel's name that gets his bells? gets his bells.
Okay, take two.
Clarence,
yeah.
wings. If you don't shed a tear, you have no friggin' heart. Absolutely no heart.
Correct.
If you don't shed a tear when Clarence rings his bells and gets his wings.
No, that'd be Clarence Thomas.
No, that's
he
a
was
different.
ringing
That's a whole different subject.
All right. How about that blowout by Minnesota 3-0 over the Raiders? Wow, coming in by Sean
The under,
Curry.
baby. It's all about the under.
The forward
All about
pass
the under.
was actually illegal in that game.
Sure was. Sean says you should never let the referees control the game. And then
No.
Jack O'Donnell says, I think the Eagles got too big for their britches. And quite frankly, Big Dom got wrapped up in the mix. Let's hope they circle the wagons and just play football. Yeah, well.
Big Dom and DeVito going to get together.
Yeah, not Clarence Witherspoon.
Not Clarence Witherspoon.
Penguin AZ
No,
comes.
no. Good bust with the 76ers, the Spooner. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Get a Grip says that would be funny. Imagine an angel gets his bells. Sounds like a punishment. See, now you went from light to dark. Oh, dear God.
Yeah.
Clarence.
Odd body.
Odd body.
I can't with you clowns anymore. Clarence Oddbody. By the way, you mentioned the officiating. Did you look around the NFL? And it has nothing to do with officiating, but we always blame the officials. All kickers need to do is one friggin' thing. Did you see all the games yesterday where kickers were just spitting a bit? And then you look at that kid from Dallas.
Yep.
That's absolutely clutch. I mean, from a betting standpoint, a lot of people were probably kicking themselves with a lot of these games, especially with the kickers. But this is where we're at in the NFL season. You got a couple plays here and there. You have a couple possessions. You have a couple drives. And it's going to, it's just that's where it's going to come down to.
Yeah.
How about the Army-Navy game where the kid takes the safety to end the game?
Yeah, that was dumb.
Woo!
That was really dumb.
A lot of money switched. A lot of money switched on that play.
Well, there was a nice chant though that went around that stadium that I will 100% back it.
It should not. By the way, it should not be played in Foxborough. I'm sorry.
No, it shouldn't.
Keep it in Philly.
Yep. Correction. Odd body. There you go,
There you
Jack.
go.
Now you got to correct. Odd
There
body.
you go. Bells,
Sean
balls,
says,
and wings. We got it.
I see the Dolphins and the Packers winning tonight. And speaking of, as we have about 5 minutes here left on the program, once again, thank you all for tuning in tonight. Thank you for all the comments. It's been hot and heavy from the very beginning of the show all the way throughout. Two things before we get into it real quick here is that one is CJ Stroud is on the concussed protocol, so he will be out for the week. Also, just when he came back and found a way to pull him in, they found a way to pull him right back out. Justin Jefferson is out because of a chest injury, so he will not be playing as well this week. And Get a Grip one more time says, I got a new one. Every time a referee makes a bad call, a fan posts a tweet.
We already do that. Trust me.
Why?
Good video.
See, it was going so well,
Good
and then comes
video.
a crash and burn.
No.
Or he gets a personal foul. And then the next bad call, second personal
25
foul,
yards.
substitute with him.
25 yards. Let's pinch him with a 25-yarder. That's a rarity.
Yeah. And this goes out to Get a Grip.
You lose. Good day, sir.
Unbelievable. God almighty. See, you're on a roll, and then that was it. Jack comes back and says, by the way, in case you didn't realize, I produced for Robin and Tony way back in the day in their basement, thus Jack in the back.
There you go.
Okay. See, now it
Nice.
makes sense. Thank you, Jack, for saying that because you are part of. So if you guys also miss it too, Jack, along with Luigi, and the best of between 12 and 3, you can hear as well. So, Jack, yes, good reminder there. And great to have you on the program here. We do appreciate the comments. So thank you very much. And it was back. So those who don't know, you would swear that Tony lived in a penthouse in South Philly because that house was stretched out to max capacity. But Jack made it work downstairs in the basement. And if you guys didn't know the way the cameras were set up, you would have thought they were an amazing studio. What is making you laugh so much there, genius?
I say, Jack in the Back sounds like a really bad porn movie.
Jeez. Ay.
I mean, he went there, right?
Hey, sure did.
He left himself open.
I mean, let them. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Hey, who do you guys like tonight?
All right. Well, for me personally, I think you have, what do you got? Green Bay, obviously being one of the games here as I float back. the New York Giants, although it seems, Jack says, I'm sorry, let me get, excuse me. Jack says, dude, I'll be glad to give a listen. Yes, Dockside. Yeah. And for those who remember, the other place that Tony had. Brian says, Q ready to throw around the ball. Yeah, he is. He was actually ready to throw when we did the crossover earlier with Tony and Miss Robin. But Giants, what do we got here? About 2 minutes. Giants, Green Bay. You got Miami, Tennessee. I'm taking Miami for sure. And could the pizza maker, the dough maker,
Tommy Cutlets.
Yeah.
Passing Paisano, gunslinging Sicilian.
Could he do it? You know what? I'm going to take the Giants. I'm taking the Giants on this one. Even though Green Bay's playing well, I'm going to take the Giants.
I'm going Finns, Giants.
I'm going Finns. I am going Packers, but the Giants cover. And that's the most important thing at the end of the day.
By the way, any before we get off air here, any quick gimmies, throwouts, not giddies, gimmies, and or throwout for someone to make a quick buck tonight?
I mean, listen. You can tease down those both games if you like. I think Miami's going to wax Tennessee. You can play in-game live betting the first half. Miami play the points 10.5. You can feel comfortable laying that one. The Giants and the Packers, just be careful. If you're going to tease it, you might as well just tease it down and take Green Bay. Remember, the Giants stink on prime time, so this could be the night where Tommy DeVito, Tommy Cutlets reverts back to the pumpkin, Cinderella, 12 o'clock, or tomorrow, Cutlets for everyone. Giants win 23-21. No, but I like the Packers. Giants keep it close.
Or his mom will do everybody's laundry.
Yes.
Everybody's laundry.
Yeah, that can happen too. So thank you all for tuning in once again here tonight to Martinez Company. Right after us, as we said all show long, it is AJ Johnson with the Bleacher Brothers coming up in just 6 minutes for his debut. Oh, excuse me, Jack, one quick comment before it comes in, before I cut off the show here. Jack says, you got to get Jose from Norristown on. If you have about 2 hours to kill, that is true. What up, yo? Jose, I have not talked to Jose in a long time. Last time, matter of fact, I saw Jose was at Fanatic Fan Fest, and I forgot who was standing next to me. Jose says, I don't know you, but I know this guy. So I'm not talking to you, but I am talking to him. And he was pointing at me, and I forgot who the guy was to the right of me. But Jose from Norristown is absolutely phenomenal. Classic human being. And thanks, Jack. Thanks to Get a Grip. Thank you to Joey B, Penguin AZ, everyone, AJ in San Antonio, for all the texts, the love, the support. We appreciate it. AJ Johnson right behind us here from 8 to 10 p.m. Monday through Thursday. So debut what happened here in about 5 minutes now. Also, don't forget the best stuff throughout the entire night. Then Pete Shepard in the morning from 7 to 10, followed by Default and Luby 10 to 12. The best stuff between 12 and 3. Tony and Robin on from 3 to 6. Martinez Company. Don't forget, don't drink and drive. We'll talk to you tomorrow. And then it didn't go to hard out. Oh, my God. I did all that for nothing. All right. Let's try this again. Obvious. It didn't do it. What the heck? Nada? Okay. Don't know what happened there, but all right. Well, let's go tomorrow. Indeed. So I will exit out. I don't know what in the world happened there. Something happened. So anyways, that was it. It was supposed to go out, and it didn't for some reason. Okay.
There you go. Hard out. Oh, yeah. Yeah, when's your husband going to be home?
For those getting bonus coverage here on Facebook, because something went drastically wrong, and I got to make sure that AJ's going to be fine. I don't know what the world happened to the program here. It was supposed to end. Well, you know what? Hopefully AJ will. I'll send him a message, make sure everything's fine. But anyways, thank you all for watching us here tonight. I do appreciate it. As Brian comes back, yeah, Jack, definitely. If I had it, I'd be playing it myself. If you guys get a little bonus coverage, I got another show behind this one. Let's go tomorrow. Brian, keep it going. Do appreciate it. Jack says it's a match game. 1975 with Gene Rayburn, Richard Dawson, and Fanny Flagg. Yes,
Fanny
sir.
Flagg. Yep.
Indeed. But listen, I would love to give you guys a couple minutes of extra bonus time, but I do have to produce a show right after this over on Broad Street South. If you guys want to check out Lloyd Vance's Insider Football with his brand new co-host, he's got a guy in the second chair. He'll make that debut tonight as I do produce that show. But again, thank you all to tune in here on Martinez Company. And you never know, Friday nights, matter of fact, if you guys like bonus time, maybe we'll make Friday night bonus time, since normally we close out the show during the week. But now, because A.J. Johnson and the Bleacher Brothers come on after us, we want to make sure we give those guys the proper airtime that they need. So thank you all once again for tuning in here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, on the radio. We do appreciate it. Don't forget to download the apps. Please do not forget to download the apps. It is on the Android and/or the Google Play Store, the Android and/or Apple Store, because Android, Google, same crap. Don't forget, so please download it. Therefore, we can make the app the number one rated here all over the nation, because Kuwait has made us number 5. And you know, listen, Australia, you guys got to step it up. You got to make it number 1. We know there's a ton of Eagles fans in Australia. So whatever you guys do, make sure if you go drinking and driving, please arrive alive. Hand the keys off to somebody else. Just don't hand it off to that person that at 2 in the morning when the lights come on, you might be looking at Ryan thinking like, oh my God, what happened? I thought I was talking to Giselle. No, it's just Ryan at 2 o'clock in the morning. So
nice.
He knows all about it. Jack, one last comment as he says, Ruth and I will be visiting Tony in January. Hopefully we will meet. Oh, nice. Let me know, Jack, because I do live 3 hours north, both on the west side, myself and Tony. But yeah, no, definitely let me know, because that would be fun. It would definitely be fun to meet. I am up for that. Ryan, not so much, as I tease Ryan all the time, but he likes to stay in his penthouse. Or, I'm sorry, Ryan, as you call it?
My palatial estates with the 1975 wood paneling.
There you go. All the way from Burlington County, PA. So, anyways, thank you all for tuning in. We do appreciate it once again as we close out the night here, as I quickly got to make the transition over to Broad Street South. So if you guys want to hear more content, it will not be me. I'll be producing it. But, okay, cool beans, we will be there for about a week. Oh, nice. All right, good. Hopefully we can make something happen. So, Jack, I'm looking forward to meeting you for sure. Meeting another legend. That's absolutely phenomenal. So, thank you all once again for tuning in. You guys want more commentary and/or content? Tune in over at broadstsouth.com. Look for Lloyd Vance's show that's about to kick off right now. So I'll be switching over to there. Once again, thank you. And congratulations once again to my man, Rich Quinones, becoming a co-host here at Martinez Company, and our contributor, Ryan Neff, who decided to sport the ever-loving Florida Gators bucket hat. I keep telling people you never know what this guy's going to bust out. You never know. All right. Everyone, enjoy your evening, and we will definitely see you tomorrow night. Have an awesome evening, and go Pack Go, as Penguin AZ makes his last comment. Tune in, don't forget, to the A.J. Johnson Show, Bleacher Brothers, right now over on the Tony Bruno Sports Network.